What's up guys? I know a lot of you have been waiting for this and it's finally here, the battery life of 3D Mario games part 3. With the release of Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury, we now have 6 3D Mario games on the Nintendo Switch. The focus of this video is going to be the 2 new games, 3D World and Bowser's Fury, on the smaller Nintendo Switch Lite. I am going to release another part to the series where we'll look at the battery life on the larger Nintendo Switch console. So I tested both games on the Switch Lite. I'm going to be focusing on how the battery drains for the 2 new games. I will of course do some comparisons to the other 4 3D Mario games, but I'm not going to go into much detail of those older titles. If you want to see more detailed numbers on those, you can check out part 1 of the series. Now, before I started this test, my thoughts were that 3D Mario should get really good battery life. It's essentially a 7-year-old game originally released on the much weaker Wii U console. Bowser's Fury, on the other hand, is a totally new game, and I think it might get lower battery life. Perhaps very similar to Super Mario Odyssey, because both of those games are this semi-open world sandbox style titles. But let's find out if my predictions are somewhat accurate. I tested both games on medium settings, that's brightness at a medium, sound at a medium, and I did have airplane mode turned on. Basically, it's all offline gameplay. I know Super Mario 3D World has an online component, however, most of the other games don't, so I had to keep the settings the same to make it a fair comparison. With the battery at 100%, let's get this test started. After 1 hour, 3D World is at 74% battery and Bowser's Fury at 79% battery. Now the other 4 games, I'm not going to commentate on them until the very end, but you will see the battery life displayed on screen for comparison. After 2 hours, 3D World has 44% battery life and Bowser's Fury has 56% left. At the 3-hour mark, 3D World displayed the 15% warning and Bowser's Fury really started to separate itself, still with 32% battery left. At about 3 hours and 28 minutes, 3D World got the 1% warning, while Bowser's Fury still had about 21% battery left. And 3D World did not make it to the 4-hour mark. It turned off at 3 hours and 39 minutes. And at this time, Bowser's Fury still had 16% battery left. At the 4-hour mark, Bowser's Fury had 8% battery left. The 5% warning came at about 4 hours and 6 minutes. The 1% warning came at 4 hours and 16 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, Bowser's Fury powered off at 4 hours and 38 minutes. So it lasted about 22 minutes after showing the 1% warning. That's a pretty long time at 1%. Alright, so here are the results of all 6 3D Mario games plotted in a graph. Was I surprised? Yes. Did I predict things correctly? No. Super Mario 3D World has the worst battery life out of the bunch. It's the only game that didn't make it to the 4-hour mark. I'm wondering if that's because of how the game performs on the Nintendo Switch compared to the Wii U. We know it runs about 25% faster on the Switch in terms of gameplay, but in handheld mode on the Switch Lite, it still performs at the same 720p and 60 FPS that we had on the original Wii U game. So yeah, I'm still a bit shocked at how bad the battery life is. Moving on to Bowser's Fury, this game surprised me. I thought it would perform worse than 3D World, but it performed much better. It lasted almost 40 minutes longer. In fact, it performed even better than Super Mario Odyssey, which is really the closest game it has in terms of gameplay, but it was even better than Super Mario Sunshine. And although Bowser's Fury runs 60 frames per second when you're docked on the regular Nintendo Switch, in handheld, you're only getting 30 frames per second. Maybe because of the lower performance, you do get better battery life, and that's really my analysis of why the results are what they are. But what do you think? Let me know your reasons and thoughts in the comments below. I know for sure that a lot of you will have some really good explanations of why I got these results. And if you appreciate this type of content, please do me a favor and smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe because there's a ton of Nintendo Switch content coming your way.